Happy Hump Day! So this is my friend Chapala, and I've had him since I was 8 weeks old and came home with my mom. And in this video, it's cutting off like my right ear and Chapala's left ear, but I assure you our ears are intact. There is nothing wrong with them. And today I'm wearing a walking vest from my Aunt Pamela. She calls this one Chihuahuas Like Us. And you'll see more of it later. So we're going to get back to those weird facts that I was telling you about last week that we were trying to vet, and some of them were like hinky. Well, here we go. You ready? Okay. Now, a fact here says, like human babies, Chihuahuas are born with a soft spot in their skull which closes with age. This is mostly true. About 80 to 90% of all Chihuahuas are born with a soft spot. In Chihuahuas and toy breed dogs, you call it a Malera. Yes, other toy breeds are born with soft spots. But Chihuahuas somehow became famous for it. And there was a wives' tale that said that only applehead Chihuahuas were born with a Malera. That's not true. Deerheads are, I have one. And mine is closed up now, but when I was a puppy, that pointed it out to my mom. And it really doesn't mean that a dog is well-bred or not well-bred if they have one. That's old-time tale right there. And so just like with human babies, as we grow, that spot tends to close up and it'll calcify, which will fuse it shut. And that's a good thing. Now, a lot of times when you get experts all together, they don't agree. Same thing with doctors and dog trainers and everything else. But my mom says that it makes sense that humans and toy breeds, not all toy breeds, but some toy breeds, have the Malera because it enables our skulls to give a little bit when they pass through the birth canal. And so, therefore, our heads can make it through because our moms are small. That opening is tiny. And so it makes it easier on the mother and it's less traumatic for us. So my mom says she thinks it's more like a Mother Nature thing doing it for small breeds and babies, humans. I like that. Now, I should note that with some Chihuahuas, our Malera never completely closes. And then there are some people who say that their vet said that their dog's Malera was almost completely closed at 5 months of age. But then there's been others who are 16 months and their vet said that their Malera was still quite large. And so it just comes down to this. If you have a Chihuahua or another toy breed or any small puppy, it should be really, really stressed that small children not be allowed to pick us up where we could possibly be dropped, because a head injury could be very, very dangerous to a tiny dog, especially when we're young. The next fact is 3 dogs survived the sinking of the Titanic: a Newfoundland, a Pomeranian, and a Pekingese. Now, all of us would like to believe that dogs survived, and it's really nice to think that those 3 dogs survived, a big one and 2 small ones, but in reality, part of that is a myth. Yes, Rigel was a Newfoundland that belonged to a first officer, and there's a lot of stuff on the internet that says that he was swimming around in the water and trying to guide the ship that came to rescue some of the people from the lifeboats, and that he was barking so that his owner's lifeboat would get seen, and that apparently is a myth. We've really tried to investigate it thoroughly, and it's just not consistent with most of the things that have been reported. But 3 dogs did survive the sinking of the Titanic. One of them was a Pomeranian named Lady, and Lady had just been purchased in Paris by a lady named Margaret Hayes, and she was only 24 years old, and she was traveling with these other 2 ladies, and they were sent back to their room and told that everything was okay when they first hit the iceberg, but they weren't buying it, and so they got all bundled up, and they took a big sheet, and they wrapped up little Lady in the sheet, and they hid her under their coats, and they ended up getting on lifeboat number 7. So lifeboat number 7 was the first boat that that left the Titanic. And then there was the second Pomeranian that was saved. That dog was owned by Martin Rothschild and his wife Elizabeth. And he was a very prominent man in New York. He was in the clothing industry. And Mrs. Rothschild hid their dog in a blanket and inside her coat. And so nobody on lifeboat number 6, the one that she got on, knew that the dog was there until they got to the boat that came to rescue them. And sadly, Mr. Rothschild, he went down with the ship. And the third and final dog to survive the sinking of the Titanic was a Pekingese named Sun Yat-sen. And she was owned by Mr. Henry Harper and his wife Myrna. Mr. Harper was the heir to the Harper and Row publishing firm in New York. And the Harpers and a man named Hamad Hassab, he was a guide and translator that the Harpers met in Egypt. They were all traveling together. And they got onto lifeboat number 3. And a lot of people asked Mr. Harper after they were rescued and safe why he had brought a dog onto a lifeboat. And of course he said there seemed to be plenty of room and nobody made an objection. Of course, little Sun Yat-sen was underneath Mrs. Harper's coat, so she wasn't taking up any room that a human could have taken up. So that's just plain silly. So 3 dogs did survive the Titanic, 2 were Pomeranians, 1 was a Pekingese. And now I'm going to show you a couple of views of my new vest. This one my Aunt Pamela calls Chihuahuas Like Us. And they're from WiggleButt Couture in Las Vegas, Nevada. And you can find my Aunt Pamela on Etsy. Alright, so here we go. And I will see you Friday. Alright, have a great day. Alright, bye.